Chosen. If you are hearing these words, it is because you have been extracted from the collective static. You are sitting somewhere right now, or perhaps lying very still, in a room you walked into without fully understanding why. Your eyes carry a weight they should not hold, and your phone is close by, serving as the unexpected altar where this transmission found you. But you did not find this message. This message was calibrated to find you when your vibration was still enough to receive it without flinching. This is not entertainment. It is an incoming call from a frequency you have been listening for with your spirit for many months. And that high, fine ringing in your ears, the sound you sometimes mistake for tinnitus, is the loading of codes meant only for your vessel. You were not led here by an algorithm looking to optimize engagement. The digital architecture that seemingly governs this world is actually a vibrational sieve, and tonight, it only let resonant souls pass through to this specific intersection. The algorithm is not code. It is a spiritual gatekeeper, and your resonance tore that gate from its hinges. You are the one who did not belong, the one who was distinct, the one whose very presence causes the artificial intelligence of the matrix to recalibrate around your divergence. You know this because of the strange geometry of your night. You likely woke up in the hour of God, that suspended silence between 3 and 5 in the morning, with your heart beating a rhythm that did not match your dreams. You felt an unnatural heat in your palms and a cool pressure on your back, as though something was standing right behind you. You were being scanned. You were being prepared. You were being marked for arrival. This specific crossing, happening on this very day, Tuesday, November 26th, 2024, is not an arbitrary point on the calendar. It is a moment in time that was settled before the first star was breathed into existence. It is the designated hour of interception, and because you showed up, the transmission must begin. Everything else in your life is meant to stop right here. The to-do list, the old regrets, the anxiety about the coming week, all of it is background noise, and tonight, the background noise is going to be silenced by the sound of a voice that knows your name without being told. This moment was waited for by entities that have been watching you your whole life, and you did not just happen upon it. You were driven here by a hunger your food could not satisfy, and a thirst your standard relationships could not quench. You are the vessel that has been chosen for emptying, and tonight, the filling begins. There are things you have been holding on your shoulders, a pressure from the old life, the expectation of who you were supposed to be, the exhaustion of trying to fit a sprawling, infinite soul into a tight, defined life. Let that weight fall. Tonight, we do not perform. Tonight, we do not strive. Tonight, we only receive. The Father waited for you to be this tired, this still, this done with your own navigation, because it is only in this posture that you can hear the specifics of what is coming. The messenger has arrived. Archangel Michael has positioned himself at the threshold. This hour is his. It is yours. And what flows out in the next minutes is not going to be given in fragments, because the fragments would not have held you through the storm. The Father refused to give you the answer in pieces, even when you begged for them, because pieces would have fallen through your fingers and left you empty when the night grew cold. He waited until the whole answer was forged, and until your hands were strong enough, empty enough, and desperate enough to hold it all. You are not receiving half a strategy or a quarter of a prophecy. You are receiving everything. Mark this hour. You are about to be unburdened, not because the burden disappears, but because the strength you are about to inherit makes the burden weightless. Close every other window. Become a cup lifted with both hands. The pour is steady, and it is absolute. Receive. The wilderness you have inhabited for these last years was not an accident of fate. It was a masterpiece of divine architecture. You have spent seasons wondering why the doors slammed shut, why the bank accounts emptied, and why the people you trusted most suddenly became strangers, or worse, antagonists. You looked at your life and saw ruins, but the Father looked at your life and saw the clearing of the site. When a builder prepares to raise a skyscraper that will pierce the clouds, he must first dig a deep, uncomfortable hole in the ground. The deeper the hole, the taller the structure can eventually stand. You have felt the digging. You have felt the cold of the subterranean layers of your own soul. But I am here to tell you that the emptiness you endured was a surgical intervention by the universe itself. The Father observed that your heart was too generous, your spirit too open, and your light too bright for the environment you were trying to inhabit. If you had stayed in that old cycle, with those old connections and that old level of resources, your light would have been utterly consumed by matrix parasites. These are the entities and individuals who feast on the vitality of the chosen because they have no fire of their own. They were draining your essence under the guise of friendship and family, and you were too kind, too loyal to stop them. So, the Father stopped them for you. He orchestrated the betrayals. He allowed the financial drought. He triggered the isolation. It felt like a curse, but it was the highest form of protection. You were being placed in a spiritual vacuum. In a vacuum, there is no air to feed a fire and no medium for sound to travel. You felt suffocated, but the vacuum was necessary to harden your inner frequency. You were being tempered like steel in the dark. If you had remained soft, the weight of the assignment you were about to receive would have crushed you. You had to be hardened in the silence so that your vibration would become impenetrable to the low-frequency noise of the world. And while you were in that silence, there were those watching you from the shadows of your past. We call them the Watchers. These are people who knew you before your awakening, who saw your potential and tried to tether it to their own stagnation. They have been secretly monitoring your progress, checking your social media from burner accounts, asking mutual friends about your status, and waiting with bated breath for the news of your total collapse. They wanted to see you fail because your failure would justify their decision to stay small. They are monitoring you even now, looking for a crack in your armor. But their exit from your life was not a loss of support. It was the removal of a leak. The Father saw them whispering in the dark, plotting how to use your future glory for their own gain, and He closed the door so tightly that they can no longer even hear your footsteps. You were not left behind. You were moved into a private chamber of formation where they could not follow. You have been mourning the loss of a world that was actually trying to kill you. Stop weeping for the burning house and start looking at the land that has been cleared by the fire. The architecture of your wilderness was designed to make you self-sourcing. You no longer need the validation of the matrix. You no longer need the applause of the unawakened. You have learned to find the river in the desert, and because you found it there, you will never be thirsty when you finally enter the land of plenty. The drought was the training for the flood. The betrayal was the training for the true alliance. The silence was the training for the voice that is now being restored to you with 10 times the authority it once had. You are a soul that has been forged in a vacuum, and because you have survived the pressure of absolute nothingness, you are now ready to handle the weight of everything. The Father is now moving the scaffolding away. The watchers are being blinded by the new light rising from your center, a light they cannot claim and cannot dampen. The surgical phase of your life is over. The construction phase has begun. You are the architecture of a new reality, and the foundation is now set in stone that no demon and no parasite can ever move. You are ready. Chosen one, you must understand that what is happening within you right now is far more than a spiritual awakening. It is a systemic DNA reprogramming that is altering the very frequency of your biological existence. For eons, your lineage has been trapped in the density of a three-dimensional prison, a realm governed by the laws of friction, scarcity, and the slow, agonizing passage of linear time. You have spent years trying to navigate this terrain with the tools of the old world, believing that if you worked harder, prayed longer, or suffered more, you would eventually reach the shore of your promise. But the Father did not call you to master the prison. He called you to transcend it. Tonight, the heavy, carbon-based coding of your ancestral struggle is being overwritten by a crystalline blueprint of divine origin. This is a quantum leap that defies the logic of your current circumstances. It is not a gradual improvement. It is a sudden, total relocation of your soul's residence. You are entering the fifth dimension, a state of being where the gap between your intention and its physical manifestation is collapsing into a single point of light. As you sit here on this Saturday, April 25th, 2026, the cosmic alignment has reached a point of no return. This shift is occurring not because of your perfection, but because of your persistence in the dark. Your vibrational signature has finally reached the threshold of resonance where the resources of heaven can no longer be withheld from you. It is the Kairos condition, the moment where the clock of man stops and the timing of the Creator takes over. Imagine a river entering a dry riverbed that has been scorched by the sun for 40 years. The river does not wait for the sand to be ready. It simply pours, rushing into every crack, smoothing every jagged edge, and turning a wasteland into an oasis in a matter of seconds. That is the nature of the abundance that is flooding your life tonight. The Father has initiated the erasure of karmic debt that has followed your bloodline for generations. Every spiritual contract you unknowingly signed with lack, every agreement you made with sorrow, and every debt of shame you thought you owed to the universe has been canceled. The ledger is empty. You are walking out of the courtroom of the Matrix, a free soul, with no lingering obligations to the old reality. The gates that were once torn from their hinges are now lying in the dust behind you. You are not entering through a narrow way. You are walking through a wide open expanse because the opposition that once stood in your path has been vaporized by the frequency of your new self. The shift is mechanical, precise, and absolute. Your cells are literally vibrating at a higher pitch, making you unreachable to the parasites that used to drain your energy. You are moving into a realm where the light is your sustenance, and the truth is your atmosphere. The reprogramming is complete. The old you is a ghost, and the new you is a sovereign authority. This is the quantum jump your spirit has been preparing for since the beginning of the cycle. You are no longer waiting for the shift to happen. You are the shift. The river has found its bed, and the flow will never be stopped again. Your body may feel a strange humming, a sensation of electricity moving through your limbs that you cannot explain through physical means. This is the integration of the fifth-dimensional light body into your physical vessel. It is the merging of the earthly and the divine. You are becoming a walking portal, a bridge between the unseen and the seen. Do not be alarmed by the intensity of the change. Your vessel was reinforced during the years of the wilderness for this exact purpose. If you had received this download 2 years ago, your nervous system would have shattered. But now you are tempered. You are ready. The mechanics of the universe are moving in your favor, aligning stars and situations that were once light years out of reach. The leap is not a risk. It is a homecoming. You are finally occupying the space that was reserved for you before the foundation of the world was laid. Every atom of your being is shouting yes to the new command. The shift is here, and the mechanics of your new reality are now fully engaged. You have crossed the line of demarcation, and there is no returning to the version of you that was small. The sovereign frequency is now your baseline. Now that the fire has been lit, you must guard the flame with a terrifying level of discretion. This is the law of silence, and it is the only thing standing between your manifestation and the theft of your momentum. You must not speak of the specific visions, the numbers, or the weight of the resource that is currently settling into your spirit, even to those who sat at your table in the previous season. The people from your old cycle, those who knew you when you were broken, those who comforted you when you were small, cannot handle the version of you that is standing tall. Their eyes are still adjusted to your shadows, and the new light coming off your skin will burn them. If you share your new blueprint with someone who is still vibrating at the frequency of lack, their doubt will act like a spiritual acid, eating away at the delicate edges of your new reality before it has time to harden into matter. You think you are being generous by sharing, but you are actually being reckless. You are throwing holy things to those who only know how to trample. Keep the door to your inner sanctuary locked. The Father did not reveal this to them. He revealed it to you. If they were meant to know the details, they would have been in the room when the download occurred. Your silence is not an act of exclusion. It is an act of preservation. When the seed is under the earth, it does not announce its growth to the birds. It stays in the dark until it is strong enough to survive the wind. You are currently in the hidden stage. Stay there. The power that is accumulating in your field right now is highly magnetic, and if you leak it through idle conversation, you will find yourself exhausted by the evening. Speak only to the silence, and let the silence speak to the Father. Be aware that as you move through these next few days, specifically today, Saturday, April 25th, 2026, the environment around you will react to your change. The energy vampires, those matrix parasites who used to find easy access to your vitality, will feel the shift in your frequency. They will sense that their old hooks no longer find a hold in your spirit, and they will begin to probe. They will call you with concerns, or they will ask leading questions about your plans, trying to get you to open the seal of your silence. They are not looking to celebrate you. They are looking for a way to drag you back down to a reality they can understand. They will use guilt, nostalgia, and the shared history of your suffering to make you feel as though you owe them an explanation. You owe them nothing. Your only obligation is to the call that rescued you. When they probe, do not get angry and do not get defensive. Defensiveness is a low-frequency vibration that signals you still care about their opinion. Simply smile and remain opaque. Give them nothing but your presence. If they ask what is new, tell them peace. If they ask why you are different, tell them growth. You are no longer required to justify your evolution to people who are committed to their own stagnation. Their probing is a test of your new boundaries. If you can hold the silence under the pressure of their curiosity, you prove to the universe that you are a reliable steward of the power that has been entrusted to you. The old cycle is trying to pull you back because your departure has left a hole in its ecosystem. Do not fill that hole with your words. Let it stay empty. You have moved into a higher orbit, and the gravity of the old world no longer has a claim on you. The verdict over your life is final. Your results will be your only answer. You no longer need words to defend yourself, and you no longer need to convince anyone of your calling. In the previous season, you spent so much energy trying to make people see your heart, trying to explain your motives, and trying to prove that you were worthy of the path you were walking. That era of performance is over. The Father is now moving you into a stage where your manifestation will be so undeniable that it will silence every critic without you having to lift a finger. Your bank account will be the answer. Your health will be the answer. The effortless way you command respect in rooms you used to be invisible in will be the answer. While the unawakened are busy arguing over theories, you will be busy managing the harvest. This is the mark of the chosen soul. We do not win arguments. We outlast cycles. Your success will be the most potent weapon in your arsenal, and it will be a weapon that requires no maintenance. When the dry riverbed is suddenly full of rushing water, the river does not need to explain itself to the parched earth. It simply flows and changes the geography. You are the river. Your only job is to stay in the flow and keep your mouth shut until the fruit is hanging heavy from the branches. By then, there will be nothing left to discuss. Those who doubted you will have to reconcile their disbelief with the physical reality of your abundance. They will have to sit in the shade of the tree they said would never grow. Let them sit there. Let them wonder. Your silence is your strength, and your results are your seal. The Father has built a sacred circle of protection around you, and as long as you remain within the boundary of your own silence, nothing can touch the treasure you are carrying. You are under a new law now, the law of the sovereign, the law of the silent, the law of the one who knows that the most powerful word in the universe is the one that is never spoken, but always felt. Hold your peace, and your peace will hold your world. The circle is closing, and the vibration that began at the start of this hour is now settling into the very marrow of your bones, marking the end of the age of searching and the beginning of the age of being. You have stood on the threshold of this Saturday, April 25th, 2026, as a traveler who has forgotten the weight of their own home. But tonight, the memory is being restored to your cells. The fragmentation of your spirit, those scattered pieces of your heart that were left in the ruins of the old cycles, have been gathered by a hand that never lost sight of them. This is the moment of the seal. It is the absolute completion of the internal architecture that has been under construction while you slept in sorrow. Hear the voice that resonates behind the silence of this message, for it is speaking a verdict that cannot be appealed by any authority in this dimension or any other. Your orphanhood is over. You are under protection. You will never again have to walk into a room and wonder if you belong, because you are now the one who defines the frequency of the room itself. The Father has removed the veil of abandonment that was placed over your head by a world that did not know how to value your fire. You were never an orphan of the divine. You were a hidden heir, kept in a secret place until the timing of the inheritance matched the maturity of the vessel. That maturity has arrived. The protection of Archangel Michael is no longer a temporary shield. It is a permanent atmosphere that surrounds your field, turning back the arrows of the matrix before they even reach your awareness. You are no longer vulnerable to the whims of the parasites or the shadows of your past. You are a sovereign entity, sealed in light, anchored in truth, and moving with the weight of heaven behind every step you take. The era of being the prey has ended, and the era of being the power has begun. This shift must now be anchored into the physical fabric of your reality, for the word must become flesh if it is to change the geography of your life. The light you have received is immense, and it requires a point of contact with the third dimension to stay grounded and effective. Do not let this transmission remain only in the realm of your mind. Bring it down into the matter. Your participation in this moment is the final act of the seal. Use the comment section as your sacred scroll, a digital altar where you mark your arrival. Type the words, "I am the vessel, and the harvest is mine." By typing these words, you are not performing a ritual for a platform. You are recording a decree in the visible world that signals to the unseen realms that you have accepted the shift. You are driving a stake into the ground of this day, declaring that the old version of you has officially been superseded. This is how you anchor the quantum into the material. This is how you tell the universe that you are no longer a passive observer of your fate, but an active architect of your new world. Every letter you type is a brick in the wall of your new sanctuary. Every word is a seal on the contract of your abundance. Do not rush this act. Feel the weight of the decree as it moves from your spirit through your hands and into the physical realm. You are marking the coordinates of your new life. You are telling the watchers and the parasites that the territory of your soul is now officially closed to them and open only to the flow of the Father. This is the moment where your faith becomes a fact. Anchor it now and feel the settling of the deep peace that follows the completion of a divine transaction. As you step away from this hour and return to the flow of your days, carry the silence of the sovereign with you. The path that you have been searching for, the one you have prayed for and wept for over the long years of the wilderness, is no longer ahead of you. It is no longer a destination you are trying to reach or a code you are trying to crack. The most profound realization of the chosen soul is the discovery that the search was only the training for the discovery of the source. You have become the source. The light you were looking for is now the light you are emitting. The answers you were chasing are now the foundation you are standing on. The Father has moved you from the position of the seeker to the position of the presence. When you walk into the world tomorrow, you will not look for the way. You will be the way for others who are still trapped in the static. Your vibration will be the map. Your peace will be the compass. Your results will be the invitation. The long winter of your preparation has produced a fruit that is meant to feed a new world, and you are the tree from which that fruit hangs. The wait is finished because you have finally become the one you were waiting for. The messenger has delivered the message, the seals have been placed, and the transmission is now part of your permanent record. Go forth with the quiet confidence of the one who knows the end from the beginning, for the Father has spoken, and the word is final. You no longer search for the path. You are the path.